Welcome, everyone. AMA enjoyers. Here's what's up. My name is Michael. I've been with NIP for longer than most of you have been alive, but I prefer to stay in the shadows. I'm coming up for this one event to moderate. We got our entire CS management here to talk about who our fifth player is going to be, how the rebuild's gone since we imploded 2.5 months ago. We got Xizt, y'all heard about him. We got Threat. We have Robel, as he's called, and we got Wendel. First things first. We have a new player, do we? I think Threat. Do you wanna maybe just announce the player?
Wow, all the pressure here that I have to do a solo announcement. Usually we'll do a full-on video. But no, the player we are announcing for NIP is Isak. Wow.
Surprise!
Q pop.
What an amazing announcement from you.
Yeah, what a cliffhanger.
All right, let's kick it off. Question 1. Isak, how does his personality fit in with the rest of the roster? Next question. Was there any particular factor that led you to choose Isak over other candidates?
I mean, Isak has been on my radar for a very long time. I've been wanting him in my team for a long time, right? I think he's an awesome player. He's another great person, and as we said, like, he's very calm. I think we need that calmness. We need that someone with experience, and like position-wise, obviously, is the most important one, right? He's an anchor player, and that's what we needed, and
he's also from northern Sweden, like you, and it's
and
you?
Sort
of a thing.
Aren't you also from there?
Well, I've lived in northern Sweden for a very long time.
You got a northern personality.
There's like this thing in Sweden where people from northern Sweden usually they say maybe fewer words per minute, but they're way calmer and they seem to like never be nervous.
Exactly. Not biased at all, but we like those people, yeah.
Kind of the same question, but also not. When looking at players for the fifth spot, what were the key attributes you were looking for? I'm assuming that it was an anchor, and I've been putting in all of our copy now for months that we're talking about talent, but also attitude and drive. And there's a whole thing in the office with like 95 attributes on there. So maybe talk a bit about those.
I mean, I think something that we're really going for with this new roster is like the work ethic, right? We want people to have a really huge hunger for CS and a huge hunger to succeed, and always improving. And
how can you tell whether somebody has good work ethic or not when you're scouting them?
I mean, you can see it in many ways, both in like the interviews when you talk to them, and also, I mean, I've competed against him, and he's a player that never gives up, right? You can kind of like see it when he's playing. That not a tilter. He never gives up. He really wants to win, But mostly it's from talking to him, and obviously you see him playing a lot outside of practice as well, right?
I think this is a huge one.
I think just to add to that, it's also just the initiative they take during those conversations, right? And all the thoughts they've been putting into it already of how to improve and what their next step would be.
Tell me more about that. What does that sound like?
I mean, it is usually, bound in, I think, an interest into one, what we're doing here with this setup of people both on the server but also around the team. And then that they've been putting some thoughts into what is it that we in this group can help the players with, and what is it that the rest of the players that they are going to play, in this case what the rest of the players that Isak is going to play with, can help him with. Sorry.
So is it kind of like a job interview in a sense?
I mean, in some way it is.
I mean, we for sure in this process had, or correct me if I'm wrong, but we had I don't think we ever had this many steps of talking and discussing and thinking and trying and talking again with players, and players that we did get and players that we didn't get. So we really did our due diligence this time to kind of answer the question of how we know this as well, right? And then I think it's important to note that it is one core pillar of this rebuild and then the new foundation that we built is to have the right people, as you're mentioning, in the team and around the team, right? And only people, as Richard said, that are having that work ethic, that wants to be the very best, that wants to reach the very top, right? And I think that's something that people might underestimate, but like any other sport that is fairly young, which you would have to say that CS is, in the beginning there's a lot of talents, right? And you can kind of get around just being a talent, and then it's getting more and more professionalized. You can see at golf, for example, like just a few years back, you had some fat guy smoking and playing the game, and then Tiger Woods comes and he changed the games and they go full athlete, right? We are trying to, and we have the luxury to be able to rebuild the team and just go that route, making sure that we only have people around the team and in the team that actually wants to be fully professional and is going in for this 100%, right? And that is a core or common point to all the players and the people around the team right now, which is we think it's going to make a huge difference, and we think we'll already see make a huge difference. And the same to the other teams, right? Young Ninjas and Impact as well.
I think we've also been very upfront from the get go of what we want to build and the work that we believe is going to be needed to be put into this whole project, right? Because it's gonna be hard work. It's we call it esports hours. It's basically all day, every day. And of course we also have to take into the trying to give them a little bit of rest. That's also why we got to start later this week. But it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of work for the people that we bring in, and they of course have a chance also to see if that's something they believe they fit into.
Yeah, and that is also one of the reasons why it's taken some time, because it's easy to find you can find good people, but you can't just put all good peoples in a pile. You need them to mix well together, everything from positions in game to socially and everything, right? And to get that to match with 5 people coaching everything, it's very tricky. But that's why we spent so much time trying to get it right this time.
Lovely. Hey, listen, I'm seeing a question in chat here. News about young ninjas. You want to leak that, Erik? We got how we're looking at a Swedish.
Yeah, sure. We got distracted a bit by blowing up the whole main roster, so that added some time to the timeline. But it's full. It's for sure in the plan still. I know Björn, you even had some calls related to this, I think yesterday. We are for sure going with a Swedish youth team under Young Ninjas, under Impact, full Swedish. Very young team, and another way to kind of pick up the very bottom of the grassroots in Swedish CS. So that is happening. Soon TM, but now with the team being done, the main team, I think we don't have to wait too long for us to wrap that one up as well.
Yeah, and that thing also, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but there will be ways to qualify and get yourself seen, probably through a Faceit ladder or something like that. So get on practicing, my Swedish friends. Sorry to everyone else.
And fairly young, if you're 32 like me, I don't think you're gonna make it, but give it a try.
Absolutely, shoot your shot. What's the first thing that Isak would be practicing? I don't even know how any of this works. Talk me through it.
I think it's just about tweaking everything, a few percentages here and there. When it comes to Isak, I think he's at least from the outside, right, a very complete player. Of course, we would like to help him as much as possible in developing as a player. From the outside and from talking to him, he seems already like a really good teammate and a really good team player, right? So it's just about tweaking some small things here and there.
Got it.
I think it's important also to add to that it's just not just 4 people that we already have, and then we put Isak in and then he has to conform to that. No, Isak is also going to bring something to the table, and what we have to create is something new, where everyone is involved in creating that and bringing the best out in Isak, but also letting him show what he can bring to the table that we maybe don't have right now. Because obviously in Game Allegiant they did do stuff that worked in a great way.
Yeah. Question from chat. Let's just address this so we can stop having this question. Is the vision that we're going to have a Swedish team? Björn, I feel like you've answered this one 93 times in various forms, but say it again, baby. It's no,
Yes.
firstly.
Yes, it's no, just to be blunt. That we're picking up Isak is unfortunately not for Swedish fans, not a sign that we are heading in a Swedish direction. We will pick the best option for the team. It happened to be Isak. We will keep picking English in the team. So it actually has nothing to do with, if you have 3 players on HLTV, you get a Swedish.
Do you think, let me rephrase this, does Isak not have much LAN experience and is he a young player? I feel like he's been around for a while. Like Gamer Legion have been grinding for what feels like years by now.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of experience. Especially the last 12 months. I mean, they were in the major final, right? Maybe that's a bit more than 12 months, but whatever.
You got to keep in mind also that like the COVID era sort of meant that only players who've been playing for more than like 5 years have a significant amount of LAN experience because everyone's playing online for 2 years there, right? So yeah, there hasn't been that much LAN except for the past 2 years where I think he's been playing LANs, right?
Yeah, I mean, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, Isak has been since 2021, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
he has been in Game League for a long
Legion.
time, and I mean, we're kind of expecting him to be a leader in that front as well with his experience, together with Alex and Russ.
Last question, I think, specifically about Isak, except those from chat. When is he getting to meet the team for the first time?
I don't think it's 100%, but it's very soon. It's like the most boring answer.
Yeah, I mean, they jump on
Yes.
TeamSpeak in 2 days, right? Isak traveling home, then he has a day off, and then off they go from home online. And then we were talking earlier today on their first boot camp, meeting together, and that's soon TM indeed. It's around the corner.
We kind of talked about this. How important do you feel it is for the club to get the Swedish flag back? Do we have more to say on that? Probably not, right? I mean,
no, just gonna add. It's also important to really listen to what Björn is saying, that we are, an international team per se, that we are going for the best players. They could be Swedish, they could be international. Also for the sense that it's important for Rinkel and Alex in this case, right? To know that it's not like we're going in that direction as soon as there's an opera, a Swedish. Then just very important to remember that for the whole.
Yeah, that would suck for them actually.
So it's be very clear. We need to be clear that that's for sure. We're gonna have the best team possible. Right now, there's 3 Swedes, and that is very positive for Sweden, of course.
Next up, big one. What is this roster's goal in 2024, in your opinion? And
exactly, I do think it's quite
everyone.
funny how that got sort of that Valve set the date of 2025. That they will change, so there will be no franchise league. So you basically have to be good at that date. And then I think it was I said it that. We need to be good in 2025, obviously, which obviously means we need to be good before that. But somehow it sort of got like changed, like to a narrative where we don't have to be good until that point, which is weird because then we'd be like, would we be bad? And then exactly on January the 1st, we were like, would be good all of a sudden. No, obviously we want to be good right away. We do understand where we are right now. We have fallen down. I almost see it like in a weird way as a slight blessing in disguise. Okay, we just remove our ranking points. Let's start from scratch. We're going to play these online qualifiers. We're going to grind these tier 2 tournaments. We're going to grind our way back to the top. That is the goal of 2024.
Robban mentioned that you were close to getting a Swedish team together a few months ago. Is Isak someone you've had in mind all this time?
Yes, I mean, as I said like 5 minutes ago, Isak has been on my radar for a very long time. So for sure. I mean, very happy to have him. I think he's a super talented player and a great guy. So Isak is someone I had in my mind for a long time. Yes.
All right, this one's spicy. I don't know. Was Heavy God ever in the mix of options?
I mean, we were looking at a lot of options, and for many reasons, like we just said, like we look at different potential candidates, how they would fit together. So that's my very sort of boring political answers. Like there were a lot of players on that list. If there is a rumor about someone, there's probably been a meeting somewhere.
And
There's been a lot of
sometimes
meetings.
actually, Yeah, there's been a lot of meetings, exactly. And sometimes actually the rumors, we haven't even talked to them. We don't even know where the rumors comes from. They're very all over the place, these rumors, to say the least.
Yeah,
But
don't
I mean,
trust
yeah, it
everything
would
you
be,
read.
yeah. But for sure, we've been talking to most people you can think about that we would have been talking to.
Yeah. It's been wild. Listen, fans, we are making another Roster Maniacs, probably 2 more Roster Maniacs coming out soonish. There's a lot of material. We've been filming for 3 months, all this stupid stuff that's happened behind the scenes. And to transition to the next question, why did it take so long to get the 5th player? Obviously, as everyone understands now, Isak has been we've been I don't know how open I can be about this, but
Yeah, we can be
been down with
pretty.
him for some time, and we
Yeah.
were not able to say anything because he was playing EPL,
Yeah.
of course.
We can be pretty open with this one. So the weird thing with CS is that we don't have any transfer windows, right? So when you do what we did and blow up a roster and you try to rebuild, there's not like we're not going to wait till the summer and then everything is fine. We try to do it in the middle of a season, and that's going to have some implications, right? And some difficulties. So the first, I think it was like sometime the few days after the RMR is the when we told the previous team, who had to leave and so on. And already immediately we were on top of talking to people and getting Richard on board and so on. And
Yeah,
the
how long
first,
did
I
that
would say,
take? That was like 4 days or something.
Richard, we got on board very fast. Yeah, we were very quick on calling Richard. That is true. And I mean, because of course you need to have a coach on board that is part of the whole trip, the whole journey, right? And believes in the project and can build it together with us. So what was my point? Yeah, so the first I would say 1.5 months, until like end of March, early April. I think we were pretty much on time in the way we would like to be. It was a lot of work, a lot of talks, but then we came to a situation where we knew we wanted to go with Isak, but he wasn't available until after EPL. And when you end up there, there's contracts. You can't really do that much. Then you gotta wait, and that is pretty much the the last weeks where we've been waiting for him.
All right, next question is very important. I want a really long answer and a really nuanced one, and I want everyone who's like taking notes here, please think about the nuance. All right, if this roster underperforms, how long will you stick with it before you start to make the decision to change it up?
I don't think even time is a factor here. I think it's all about like, do we believe in the project? And if the answer is no, then something needs to change. And that's basically it, right? I mean, it's esports, crazy things can happen. We have no plans of doing it now, but for me, time is not a factor.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought about this question as well because I realized that it probably would come, right? And I think and I think you will see this as well. There's a huge difference or how this teams operates now with everyone in it and around it. I don't think if we come to a point where change has to happen, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Like that's a very, very, very important point that we have in the way we communicate, in the way we give feedback, in the way we have evaluation talks with everyone. There's not gonna be like someone that's shocked. I mean, sure, I don't fucking know. Something insane happens, like the device signing, right? That wasn't my time, but I guess you here, Björn. It was pretty crazy. It came out of nowhere, I'm sure. But in general, no one should be surprised about anything. There's like a very open conversation. There's a very, very professional way of handling it. And when you create that way of working, it's not gonna be a question about time, as Björn said. It's more a question of like, is this working or not? And the guys in the team, they will know for sure if it's working or not because they are literally the guys sitting there day in and day out, right? So I think that's an important.
Yeah, it's kind of old school esports. This thing where people are like, "Oh wow, I was playing poorly. That's crazy," and I got kicked. Like that seems to still be happening in a bunch of other teams, but I take it there are processes for actually giving feedback now, and
yeah,
not just
exactly.
telling people
It
at the
does,
airport.
right? It does happen, and that's part of what we mentioned before, where we want to change how we do things, not only for the players but also from our side, like how we actually operate and how we communicate and how we, as you said, give feedback. And if you do that properly, again, no one should be surprised if it's like, yeah, we need to change this. Then it should be something that you knew because you were already working on fixing it and it didn't work, and that's something we will do as a team, like as a group, everyone, not only us here but also the players involved, right?
Yeah, and we have, I mean, constant evaluations, right? Both of players, but also team, and then also of just the people in this room, right? Trying to improve it every single day. I think that's important because we can always be better, all of us. We're really aiming to be that.
Not me. I'm perfect. Got a question from chat. Updates on Brollan. My update is he was in the office a week ago. I think he bought a house or something. Very happy for him.
He did.
That's kind of wild. He's like 12 years old and he's got a house now. I do not have a house. Anything else you want to say about him? I love him.
No, we had a lot of good talks with him in Malta. He was sitting with me, Slap, and Seta watching the NRP games. So that was very, very enjoyable. So had a good time, and he's doing good.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that he, yeah, sorry, go on, Richard.
I think he's playing tomorrow, right? So I think we need to support him.
Yeah, exactly.
19:30.
And the fact that he hangs out with you guys in Malta, he comes into the office still, it's also a very important thing for us because that means that we did what we could. You know, also we keep good relationships after they've been playing for us. You know, the whole thing. So, yeah, he's doing good.
How much time will the team have to practice together before the next big event?
I mean, it's pretty unfortunate or fortunate, I guess. I mean, we're gonna be playing some online tournaments. I'm not sure if it's official yet, but we'll have 4 or 5 days maybe, something like this, of full practice.
Yeah, we're in this world.
We're going to be on this super grind now for the next couple of.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I also want to add to that, right, where there is this new world we're going to enter into, and especially in 2025, where there will be way more tournaments. You won't have the 2-week boot camp to prepare for this super tournament, and everything is like you have 10 new strats on every map. That's not the CS landscape we're entering into. We're fully aware of that. So we just need to grind ourselves back. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a grinding world, right? And as you said in the end, we are going to lose a lot. And then we're going to win some, and we're going to lose a lot again. And it's going to be stupid qualifiers. It's going to be crazy stuff going on. There's going to be, but the best part is that everyone is aware of it and everyone is actually hyped and ready for it. And I think something that you should feel as a fan watching us is that you will see and understand the progress and the work that is happening, right? We're not promising that we're going to win every qualifier and go all the way, because we're probably not. But we're for sure going to be a team that you will be entertained watching, and you will feel like we're actually making progress and that you care about that journey we're making. Interesting, we ended up on this as an answer to your question about the next big event. But yeah, not much practice without some online matches being mixed in there.
Yeah, but it's the same for every team that's trying to grind their way to the top. Right?
100%.
It's a lot of officials and less practice these days, and we just need to do the best out of the situation, right?
But as we spoke of this morning, the boys seem very, very excited to get going with the full lineup and getting the work done, which is awesome. And they've been, I mean, so professional in this transition period. So super proud of those guys.
Yeah, and something everyone
to the players.
100%. They've been very patient and also involved way more than in the past, right? So I think they feel like they understood what's been happening. But I was gonna say, I have no idea what I was gonna say. So keep going. I literally dropped it.
Oh yeah, do people cheat in online qualifiers? I'm asking because I actually wonder too.
Yes, people have been cheating and people have been getting banned, especially in the open qualifiers, right? That's just how it is right now, and hopefully we can just pray it's gonna get better, right, with time.
Do we think there's going to be more? There is going to be much more online qualifiers in the next couple of years due to these Valve changes, right? I think so.
Yeah,
it's going to be cheat
this
city.
Is a problem
for sure.
This is a big problem for the entire scene, and I think this problem is even broader, right? Because you look at not only esports but all sports. There are cheaters in all sports. Maybe there is, I don't know, some weird sport. There's no cheaters, but from what I know, if you can cheat, there will be some cheaters. So it would be crazy naive to believe that there would be no cheaters in.
Especially for my good friend Leah, who's probably not in here right now, but Alex has an IGL. A lot of doubters out there. You want to say some good stuff about him?
About Alex?
Do you want to kick it off, Richard, or do you want me to start with some of it? Like, you can go on.
I mean, I can talk just briefly about Alex. I mean, it was my first LAN with him, and I think he performed very well. individually. I think he also transforms into a different person, a different player when he's online. He's got that kind of, we call him the Spanish bull in the team. He's got that excitement, you know, and he really wants to perform on LAN. He really wants to win, right? And I think he showed to everyone that he can also like as an individual perform on a really high level.
And I sort of
No,
want
and
to
I
add to
think
that.
also a thing you don't really see when you sit and watch the games is his ability as a leader, right? I think he's doing a phenomenal job with being a leader, both on but also off the server, showing the way for the young guns, really putting in the work. He wants this. He wants it a lot. And of course, we're also helping, you know, developing Alex. Every single day, every player has plans, development plans, when they work in this team, and Alex is no different.
I think also like considering the way that he's calling, it was very similar to the way that I was calling when I was in IGL, kind of relying a lot on the players that you're playing with as well, your teammates, right? And kind of like building a plan of what Wrinkle wants to do, or what let's say Rest wants to do, right? He's relying a lot on information and initiative, and that's something that we want to improve on a lot, right? And if his teammates, if our players are doing what they're supposed to be doing, then Alex will have an easier time, right? And he can focus more on himself.
But that's also something that comes with time, right? Because I mean, Enter, you gave the example just before from the device days, right, where the casters would say, "Hey, this is the IGL calling," but then it was someone else. Like that's one example. Could also be the IGL is calling something and the players are doing something completely different, right? And then the casters thinks that's the call when it's not always, and that takes time to have a team where, you know, the teamwork is on point, because it needs to be in Counter-Strike because it's such a fast-paced game. Like everything changes
I also
all
want
the
to add,
time.
like, because something that's really good with Alex is really takes, you know, full ownership of everything. If you like,
Yes.
you can truly trust him, and if something goes wrong, he very rarely goes to excuses. He takes full ownership for everything and just
Yes.
has that, you know, true captain vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think also I just echo what MT said in the beginning. I watch a lot of CS. I am no Xizt or Threat, but I do spend a lot of time with them and very knowledgeable people. And I have no idea how everyone can see how an IGL is calling. Like every time I see those comments, I'm like, how do you know that was a bad call? Like how do you, listen into some of these when teams put up the voice comms. Like you will hear, right? They were calling across the map depending on what they hear. It could be, and nothing against the Max. It could be Max hearing something in B apps Inferno. He's like, oh, there's no one here, or whatever, right? Or there's two here, and there was only one there. All these things would change how people are actually playing, right, and what they're doing. So I'm amazed by it's for me a great mystery how people know how well an IGL is calling. That to me is fascinating because I can't tell from just watching.
Yeah.
However,
but again, there's also the inspiration.
Sorry.
I think just wanted to say that also the leaders, ability to be a leader and to inspire the rest of the players in the team to put in the work and effort every single day. I think that's a big thing that you just don't see, and I think Alex is doing phenomenal when it comes to that.
Let's see. There was some more. Oh, tell me about Wrinkle. How's he doing? I like Wrinkle.
Wanna start, Trolls?
Sure. I mean, Artem is very, very active, as you can also see on the server. It takes a lot of space. He wants to go and dominate the games, and on Richard and the rest of the coaching staff to help him also evolve in that sense. But outside the server, I mean, Artem has, like, also in Malta, really stepped up. I think a big reason for that is also obviously Res was out with a virus, and someone had to step up, and I really think Artem did. I mean, you saw him and his energy on the stage, and right now energy is so important, and I mean, I believe energy can win matches. Not all the matches, but some for sure. And he's evolving. He's thinking a lot about what his next step is and how he can, like, evolve on the server, and also as a teammate. and that's just awesome to have in a team.
And he's good at content too. Does a banger video. Excellent acting.
Like the wrinkle announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, we put that together in like 2 days, guys. Don't at me. Okay, listen, we got to talk about Nilo. Everyone's asking, any thoughts on Nilo? Did we consider him? How awesome is he? Is he going to save Swedish CS? Or is it us? Are we going to save Swedish CS?
I think saving Swedish CS is done by, like, it won't be a single team, a single player. It will come from the entire scene. And as I said earlier, right, like the same with the Heavy God questions, we had a lot of conversations with a lot of players trying to figure out like which puzzle pieces we wanted to fit together. And if there is a rumor out there, there were probably some talks.
There were probably some talks. There's your answer. We got a recurring question here about Erik Wendel's hair routine. Any comments?
That's on my own YouTube channel, which I'll share later. But I won't let NIP get the clout for that one. That's my second business.
Yeah, we're thinking about also a newsletter where maybe we can talk about those kinds of things. Keep
That's exactly what
keep
we should have a
updated.
newsletter. Yeah.
Did we launch the dojo thing? Yeah, 15 minutes from now, maybe some Erik Wendel hair routines on.
There's also a question
questions
about of having three guys in the same nationality in an international team and communication, right? It's a thing we've been talking a lot about, Richard. I mean, it's very simple. The rule is we speak English.
Roles. I assume that now that we've laid this puzzle for 1,000 years, you're not expecting role clashes. I'd be
That would
disappointed.
suck.
Yeah. I mean, and I think this is a subject that's quite complicated because there are this, for the common viewer, you have this very high abstraction layer of, you have the lurk and the opper and the IGL and an anchor and a star player. Usually things are more complicated. Usually things differ from map to map in tier 1. Things become a lot more fluid, but obviously there could be way too big role clashes. With that said, there will never be a team where, everyone gets their favorite position on every half on every map. That will not work. But we're definitely in a space now where like everyone feels very comfortable.
Yes, it's very hard to, as you said, everyone plays exactly what they want on every map, but I would say like maybe 90% were there, which is pretty damn good, right? And it helps a lot when everyone is comfortable, right? That's what we're aiming for. Everyone is comfortable, and we can get the best out of everyone on the server.
Richard, there's this question recurring about shading the enemy team, which apparently Cadian did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important in every sport, right? It also adds a bit of entertainment. Of course, there's a line that you shouldn't cross, right? But I think it's a lot of fun. Talking a bit shit to the opponent and maybe spraying their corpses in game. Why not? I mean, it's been like that for many years.
It's also connected to the energy, right? And we have a young team with a lot of energy, and I mean, it will evolve in one way or another in the future also. I'm sure you'll see that. Artem our Wrinkle is already thinking a lot about how and what he should do and how he should do it and all those things. But I think it's important to say that it's in good sports at the end of the day. If you talk about the heroic matchup, right? I get like it's really good like good vibes between the teams. Blue Phoenix and Nerds are really good friends in real life, for instance.
Yeah, that's the whole thing when you go to tournaments.
Has a connection. Yeah, I mean, Richard has a connection to Tessus and Shoes also, right? So, like, it's all in good sports, and we have a lot of fun out there.
I think in our next backstage video, there's actually a good example of how like they're talking before the match in a good way, right? Just having fun and kind of, I think it's like Nerds, Mouse, and Max just chatting, right? I think you'll get a good vibe of how they actually I mean, it's all in good fun. And also, this is part of what we mentioned, that there's true competitors, right? Like every little thing they can do on the server to win the game, they're gonna do. When we're off the server, we also want NIP to be the group of people, walking around in the venue that people want to interact with, nice, polite, professional. So it's a switch, right? An on and off switch.
Yeah. And the boys were enjoying the sun together afterwards, right? In Malta, sitting and having a good chat. So.
And I mean, yeah, as you all said, right? Like people that you should never take these trash talks like as us like they seriously hate each other. That is ridiculous.
no.
They are as serious as when I play Mario Kart with my friends and we trash talk, right? It's the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see a very important question here. Who is better at football in Malta? Richard, can you take that one? I think it's very important we get an answer to that.
I mean, I guess people would expect Alex to be the top performer. I would say that day one, he was probably the best one. I mean, it's in his blood to be good at football. So, but over the next couple of days, I would say that Kaspersky had the biggest. He was improving the most.
He did.
Max
Max
has been playing
there-
football. He must be decent.
I mean, you would think that would be pretty good, but there's some stuff to work on there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that you know that he has to work on football stuff. That's good. I like it. There's actually one question I would like
we'll
to
include that in the development plans, right? And improve everybody.
There's one interesting question I would like to touch on, because I think this is like misunderstood. So Knorke wrote 5 minutes ago, there are talks about some players not wanting to come back to NIP, not naming names, after having made bad experience in the past stints. Is this still an issue despite change of management? And what I want to reply to that one is that it's a huge difference between what the community, people online are thinking the NIP is and what NIP actually is. And people working in the industry, meaning staff and players, they have a very good understanding, right? Because they will literally run into, Trolls and Richard on tournaments, well, all of us, right? We all meet each other, know each other from the past, or whatever it is. NIP right now, and this is like, I guess, a humble brag, which I'm proud of. NIP right now, in all these positions, all the people you see here, people around the team and in the team, are some of the best people in the industry on their different roles, right? And people really like to work with us, and we have a really good network. So player in this case, there's not, I can't remember the past 2.5 months where we were trying to reach a player and he was like, oh, NIP called. No. It's like Björn called, or Erik called, or Richard called, or Trolls called, and it's all about relations, like in any other job. So I think that's very important to remember, that like this whole NIP evil thing, these are the people, together with some other great people, not in Nicole, and we're having a pretty good relations with people in general, and that is what matters, right? And people want to work with us, and we're in a pretty good place there.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the only evil person, and I barely talk to players.
Yeah, and we hide him in the corner like 99% of the time, right? So it's all good.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at NIP management. Because I think it's easier to like write about something like a concept like NIP management, but like we're here. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Map pool. When do you guys think agency is coming back? No.
Agency.
People are sleeping on agency.
I'm waiting for rats to come back. That spot was insanely good.
That would be
That's a good
insane. Like a BO5 final with the rats in the middle of it. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Cobblestone. People remember our old smokes. Cobblestone. Just remember.
I love Cobblestone.
10,000
You're
years
still
ago.
talking about them in your sleep.
Yes, exactly. My only achievement.
Just 15 rounds of a rushing drop on that map. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Good times. Slash, Regan, how are preparations for Dust 2 going? Actually, how does that work? New map in the pool. How does that work for like everyone? Are all the teams just like rushing into? But I guess you have Stras from like a year ago or whenever it was in the pool last.
I mean, for very obvious reasons, we don't talk openly about any map pool related things, especially with a new lineup. But regarding Dust 2, I personally think it will play probably like being able to blow up smokes with HE is probably going to affect that map the most out of all maps. So it's going to be it's like I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen on that map. It gets played the first time.
And also with no skybox, right? Still a lot to be discovered on that map.
Isak is flying back from Malta, but he kindly sent us this. I hope the audio works and all that. We got a 17-second long message from the boy.
Hello everyone, Isak here. I'm heading back home right now from Pro League to start practicing with the NIP guys. I'm very excited to join this team, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very fun ride. Let's bring it back to the top.
Any closing words from NIP management?
I mean,
Oh,
I
no,
really
thank you
appreciate
for showing
everyone
up
joining
and-
here. Yeah, exactly. Everyone showing up, and I hope you're all ready for this grind that 2024 will be. I'm sure we are, and it's going to be very, very exciting.